For years, I have wondered, why don't more multi-tool manufacturers make tools in the solid Powerpint size? Why is it that we just have to be stuck with a 4-inch frame? Why do we have to be satisfied with the Bond, the Wave, the Surge, the 300? Why can't there be new and exciting variants in a lot smaller sizes for some of us who may not want to carry huge, gigantic multi-tools? That's where this tool came in. This was actually my journey into trying to figure out a tool that would fix some of those issues I've seen in the multi-tool world. Usually when we look back into history, we can find something that might have fixed a problem we had today but is no longer available or made, and that is true with the Leatherman Leap. This was a great tool. This was geared toward kids, but it had a pretty much an adult tool set. You could take out the knife. So it was one of the first modular tools that Leatherman ever made, and only modular tools besides like the Surge and so forth. This one right here, it had a whole bunch of tools that it packed in its handles, really light, really compact, a very unique tool. And it would have answered a lot of the needs that people who like the Saga Powerpint would have had. So this is a tool that I think Leatherman should have brought back a long, long time ago, but unfortunately it seems like they never will. But this was a fantastic design. Not only did Leatherman make the Leap, but Gerber made the Octane. And with the Octane, Gerber made a very slim tool. Now, it was still in pretty much the 4-inch frame, whereas in the Leatherman Leap is around that 3.5-inch perfect frame size, but the Octane was very slim. It was a very slim tool. It was very compact, and it was probably Gerber's best ever attempt at making a lightweight pocketable tool. Fantastic tool that you can still get on AliExpress. That's one advantage that the Gerber has over the Leatherman Leap. You have to pay pretty high prices for these on eBay anymore. Now, Leatherman did expand their lineup, and they did come out with the skeleton, or the Skeletal rather. I always try to call it the skeleton. This one, again, with the extended clip, just seems really too long for me. But when I cut the clip down, I was very happy to find out that it is a lot more pocketable now. So I do like the Skeletal. It is a very nice tool, especially with the clip cut off, and then it becomes very, very pocketable. So just for minimal everyday carry, I think this is one of the best tools you can get once you cut the clip off, because then it becomes very, very compact. Now, if you want a little bit more tools, the Saga Powerpint, again, is essentially the only tool out on the market if you want, again, that 3.5-inch frame size, essentially. This right here is pretty cool. There is the Roxxon M1 that has a little bit of a different tool set. I think it needs improved a little bit, and then it could be a lot more competitive. It doesn't have a pocket clip either, which I think is unfortunate. So these are some of the tools that were on the market. So I was not that excited with all the options because I wanted something that I could use for work. I wanted something that I could carry around with me, and I thought there's got to be more options out there. So the first option is I start out with several of these Gerber armbar handles, and I thought, why not use the Leatherman rebar plier head, use the bit driver, and these Gerber armbar handles, and then you could also have a hammer and a pocket clip. I thought that would be a great option along with the knife. And it worked okay. These handles don't open the best. I needed to put a couple more washers in there to make them easier to open the handles on here, but they work a little bit. So I carried this with me for a little while, and then I sort of set it down and began to think about other options that I can make. So then I decided to come up with this option. This is using the Leatherman core plier head. I've now advanced to just using the regular Gerber armbar trade or scout handles. Those are a lot skinnier. They don't have as much space on them, so they seem to fit the plier head a little bit better. Not only that, but then some of you had mentioned about scissors. So I began putting scissors under the handles right here. And then you could have a spring-loaded pair of scissors with the Gerber arm bar. You still have the hammer ends when you close this up. I just used this recently on my stairs. I had some nails protruding, and it was neat to pull this out of my pocket and be able to use that. You do have the bit driver. This does lock into place, so that's always nice. We do have a knife right here and then a thumb stud that was sent to the channel, so that's pretty cool. The pocket clip, and then the Leatherman core plier head. And these pliers work a lot better. These, for some reason, were sticking on the wire cutters, so I had to cut some of the metal off just a tiny little bit, and then they open and they close very well. And in the pocket, you'll notice that it doesn't really fall open. It stays open. It opens up rather, and then it stays closed. Now, if someone were to put this in production, you would need to weld the sides of these springs shut. There is way too much potential for using these under pressure and then them bending and so forth. I did have to take some metal off of this to fit with the plier head. I plan to do a full video series of how to make these in the new year and offer it under memberships on the channel and offer a lot of additional content, hopefully coming up this new year. Now, my latest version has been going back to the Leatherman Super Tool plier head, this one right here. I don't like this one as well as I thought I would. It has this crimper on top. I thought that was cool, but I really don't like that because it gets in the way of using the plier head. So I do plan to do a couple other versions of these as well. But it does have a nice set of wire cutters. We do have these nice pliers. They fold up, they shut, pretty neat. I do like that I have potential to actually use the gun cleaning brush and other attachments that clean in there, that's a nice additional bonus. You do have, again, the hammer ends, and then I just did the same thing that I did with the other. We've got the locking bit driver on this one right here, and then we do have the scissors that fit into the bottom right here. One of the big things, though, is I wanted to have the option on this one right here. I wanted to have the option for a T-shank adapter. I thought that is something that we really need on some of these small multi-tools. And you can use, again, I used some of the Roxxon kit right here. Roxxon makes this nice little plastic case for a lot of its Flex Companion or Flex tools. So you can get this metal saw blade that it fits in really nice. This is actually for the Roxxon, for their T-shank adapter. Anyway, it fits in really nice. It's a nice little size. You can use, whatever you want in this as well. So this is actually from the Byberry tool. So you can use Leatherman or Byberry implements in here. At the beginning of the video, I showed how you could use the scalpel, and then here is the file. So now with this tiny multi-tool that I use at work, I can have the file. I can have a huge saw blade for wood if I needed it. I don't at work, usually ever. We do have the scalpel, and then we have a metal saw as well. So all kinds of options are now available when you add the T-shank adapter to your mini multi-tool. And then I was carrying most of these in this. Now with the scalpel and this longer saw, I will need to get another case holder, but I'll figure something out. And then I use that in conjunction with my wrench. And then I really like this Klein system. And then I've got a little ratchet head that I use, plus these next tool bits into this bit card I got off eBay. So this has turned out to be a fantastic kit for my tool. I really love this. I mean, these are amazing options for a micro toolkit. I think these are some of the best options out there. These fit into the bit driver right here. So I use this card all the time. It's just a really great option. I love this little adjustable screwdriver, or not screwdriver, wrench. And then this Klein system at work, always I'm having to take apart bolts, work on fans, work on motors, and this really comes in handy when the adjustable wrench, when this doesn't fit, then I can always use the adjustable wrench usually to fit the bolts that this doesn't fit. Again, just a really handy combination. I didn't really mind it, but I've carried the Leatherman Surge. I've carried all kinds of heavy options with me at work, the Centerdrive, the Dual Force, all kinds of options. But I really enjoy having a lighter multi-tool, and it's been a joy to have something that's not quite as heavy. So for years now, I've been saying the SOG Powerpint, unfortunately, is about the only option out there. It's the best option you can get at the moment and almost the only option. I'm not sure if that's necessarily the case anymore, because now you can essentially build your own option. You can decide what you want to have and what you want included in your tool set, which I think is really, really important. It's a really huge addition to the multi-tool family to be able to use the Gerber armbar and multiple plier heads for different options. Now, one of the things that I found out while using this tool is I can actually use Kristen Van Patten's tools in this right here. So this is designed for the Leatherman arc, and then it actually, the magnet holds it into place, so you can use the pen, the writing ink pen, or the ferrule rod, whatever you want, and it just fits right down here, which I think is really, really cool. So there are so many options with these small tools now. The SOG Powerpint is not the only option anymore. With a Gerber armbar paired with some of Leatherman's pliers, or even I'm going to experiment with a lot of different plier heads as well in the upcoming weeks and months. I think there's a lot of options available for those of you who've been frustrated with what's on the market. Don't be frustrated anymore. Help is here. You can make what you want.